Hey everybody, welcome back to Pam's Cutting Board. So I got a lot of response on asking if you all wanted a bread video. So today we're going to make bread. So let me go over the ingredients that you need and we'll make bread together. So first of all, you're going to need either bread flour or all-purpose flour. This is all-purpose, but you can use either one. You're going to need a little bit of sugar. You're going to need some powdered milk. You're going to need some yeast. You're going to need a little bit of salt. You're going to need some oil. You're going to need some warm water. And that's all it takes to make bread. Now, this recipe came to me by one of our subscribers. She had sent me an email with her bread recipe. And honestly, bread actually scared me. My mom always made homemade biscuits and cornbread, but she never did really make like, I call it light bread, but sandwich bread. She never did do that. So I didn't know how to do it. My mother-in-law and her mother always made bread. So Wayne was used to that and he wanted me to make bread, but I was a little bit intimidated. But after I got the recipe, I tried it and it's easy, guys. So if you're one of them people that's intimidated, or maybe you have a different recipe and you want to try this one, try it. It's easy. And I don't have a stand mixer. I'm going to do it by hand. So even if you don't have a stand mixer, you can still make bread. What was I going to say? And I forgot my train of thought. I don't know. Maybe it'll come back to me. But anyway, I am going to pause you just for a second. I'm going to warm my water up, and then we're going to get started. Let's go ahead and put our yeast in the water. And with the warm water, you don't want it really hot. You want it about 100 degrees. You just want it warm, because if it's too hot, it will kill your yeast. And I'm going to go ahead and add my powdered milk. And you're just going to stir that up, whisk it up. And I'm adding my sugar. Now, with the yeast, we're going to let this sit about 10 minutes. And see if the yeast is actually active or not. Because if it is not active, if it's not active, you don't need to go any further because the bread's not going to rise. You'll be wasting all this other ingredients. You want to add your salt to your flour, not to this, because the salt can kill the yeast.
Well, that's what I was asking about the yeast.
Okay. Okay, we will. Well, let's wait on this. I've got something I want to tell you, and I'll forget if I don't. What I was going to say earlier was the recipe will be in the description box, and if you'll notice, I have a metal pan. You do want to use either a glass bowl or a metal bowl, because plastic, I mean, you can use plastic, but the metal and the glass will hold heat a little better, because we want that heat in there so that the bread will rise. So I've always just used a metal or glass is what I use. But we'll be back in a little bit and we'll go through the rest of it. Okay. We are back. It's probably took about, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. Wayne and I went over and in the living room, sat down, and when we come back, you see how it looks. See the difference it looked when we first stirred it up. This is foamy. The yeast is good now. But if it had still looked the way it was when you just first add your yeast is no good. And by the way, I keep my yeast in the freezer And if you buy the jars, I use the little packets because I don't bake a whole lot and use yeast. But if you use the little jars, it's going to equal 1 tablespoon. The little packets is about 1 tablespoon. So, but I'll put all the ingredients in the description box. So now we're going to add our flour. Now this is 4 cups, depending on the weather. It may or may not take as much. You might have to use a little bit less. I've reserved about 1/3 of a cup because I'll have to knead it, and I'll need a little flour then. I'll need a little flour when I need.
May I ask why according to the weather?
I don't really know. It's science stuff, but the weather does affect a lot of foods. Like if you're making a meringue or meringue cookies, a lot of times if it's wet, they won't turn out as good. So now we're going to pour our yeast in here. I can't tell you specifically what happens, but it does affect.
Question.
We're going to put our oil in. Okay.
Is that right? On a rainy day, your hair is more curly?
Maybe. I don't know. The weather has a lot to do with it. It's just like, the weather can affect your arthritis, your aches and pains. So, I don't know. I'm going to put this flour over here, and I'm going to turn it out on this board here in just a minute. I've washed my hands. I've washed my board.
I think that's amazing the way that does.
That makes good bread.
Well, you just put water and stuff in, wait a while, and look what you got.
Now, with that water, you could, if you didn't use powdered milk, you could use about a cup and a half of warm water and a half a cup of warm milk. You could use all water. But the directions that Miss Sharon gave me was the powdered milk. And so that's what I've done. Now, this is really, really sticky. There's no way we're going to be able to knead that. That's where that other flour comes in. I've got me some water over here. I always wash my dishes as I go. Okay. Now, you take your flour that you reserved. Just put it all over your board. Put a little bit on your hands because it's going to stick to them till we knead it. And kneading just stretches out the gluten that's in this, so it will help your bread to rise.
Honey, give me just a second.
Go ahead, I'll get this now.
Right there, hey, bent. It got its feelings hurt because we didn't get him a while ago. He's come to the gate twice and walked out.
Feelings, he's just wanting food.
Yeah.
Met him had a time. I got up to go to work and it's giving snow and it's cold and rainy and they're giving it to turn over to snow. So they called school off. And so me and Bentley, we had us a time this morning. We played. He loved it. So you're going to have to put some flour on here just to be able to even handle it. So, see how sticky it is? Let me get my scraper. I forgot to get that out.
that is sticky. That is sticky.
It is sticky. Now, it's going to be messy. Baking bread, you're going to have flour all over your kitchen. It is still sticky. But it's very rainy. It'll snow for a few minutes. And then it'll turn back into rain. It doesn't know what it's wanting to do. It's about to get to where I want it, though, to where I can work with it.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot better.
Okay. Okay, now let's start kneading it. So you want to push, pull, turn. It's still a little sticky.
I see it sticks. It's at the bottom.
Okay, guys. We're going to take a little bit of a break. Go get us some more flour. It's taken more flour today than I've ever had to use because of the weather. I mean, it's a really bad day here. So I probably, it takes normally about 4 cups and a third of another cup. And I'd say I'm closer to 5 cups. So you're going to have to play with your dough and find out what works on the days that you bake it. And I guess that's what intimidated me all these years. But the more you do it, the better that you get the feel for the dough.
Yeah, rolling it right off of the island.
And it still feels a little tacky, but it's where I can work it. And just add the flour as it starts to get sticky. You know, if you had a mixer, all this would be done for you. And if I bake bread often, then I would go ahead and get a mixer. Okay. Technically, this is how you're supposed to knead. You take the palm of your hand and you push out, pull it back, turn it, push it out, pull it back, turn it, push it out. But you gotta stretch out that gluten, because if that's the key to it rising.
And that will be gluten free? Huh?
No. It's
well,
full of gluten.
It's a good thought.
Well, you can think that, but it ain't gonna happen. It's almost where it needs to be. Kind of make your a ball and poke it. See how it's coming back up? You barely can see it, so it's almost there. Another way I do is how far can I stretch it? I'm stretching it pretty far, and there's not a break in it yet. So there's a little bit one there starting.
If you stretch it far and it doesn't break,
it's ready.
You're doing good.
Yep.
Okay.
So we'll be back once we're ready to put it in the pan. Okay, guys, we have kneaded our bread. And I just took about another tablespoon of oil and put it in the bowl that I had mixed it up in. And put it right back I'm going to put it right back in that bowl. Just kind of roll it around, get that oil around on your dough. Okay, now you want to put this in a warm place. Maybe, I would say between 70 to 75, something like that, because it needs to rise. I'm going to put a towel over it. Just set it back on my counter because my house is good and warm. It's cold outside and I've got it good and warm. But if you're making it in the summer and you have your air conditioner on, you don't think it's warm enough, you can turn your light on in your oven and stick it in the oven. Don't turn the oven on, just your light. So we were going to let this rise probably anywhere 30 minutes to an hour. You just got to kind of keep check on it, and it's according to how warm your house is and how much you've kneaded the dough. So we will be back whenever it's ready to punch down and rise again. It's going through 3 risings. So we'll see you back in a little bit. Okay, guys. So it's been about 45 minutes since we put the bread in the pan to let it rise. I wanted to let you see. Look at that. It's doubled in size. And oh, you can smell that yeast. So all I'm going to do is just punch it down. You see? I'm going to turn it over a little bit. Make me another ball. Stick it back in this bowl. Cover it and let it rise again. Then once it does, I'll bring you guys back and we'll go forward on this bread recipe. See you back in a little bit. Okay, guys, our bread is through its second rise. See how big it is? I'm going to take it and put it out on the cutting board, and then I'm going to put it in our loaf pans. Then it will rise again. And then we'll be ready to bake it. So I'm going to turn you guys down and let you see me put it in the loaf pans. I'm going to put just a little bit of flour here so it doesn't stick. Not much. We're just going to turn it out onto our cutting board. You can smell the yeast. Okay. Okay, and the reason that we let it rise 3 times is it gives it a milder taste. And you just want to kind of cut it right down in the middle. Now, sometimes, I think this one's going to be a little bigger than this one. It don't have to be exact. I mean, if you wanted to be precise, you can get you a scale and measure it, but I'm not going to do that. You just kind of want to flatten it out a little bit. Sometimes, like I was saying, sometimes what I do is I take half of it, make 1 loaf of bread, and then I take the other half and I will just cut it off. Like I'll cut it off and I'll roll me a little ball like that and make me a roll. And if you do it that way, you can get about 12 rolls out of this half. Or if you want to do them both, all of it as rolls, you get about anywhere from 20, 24, depending on how big they were. You want to make them almost the same size, but without measuring, you know, without weighing them out, they're not going to be exactly the same. And that's okay. Okay, let's see. You just kind of roughly measure how big your bread pan is. And I've done some butter spray on here just so that it won't stick. They'll turn out good. We'll start off with that. Just don't look the prettiest. Okay. Now just kind of roll it up until like a little snake. And the ends, you just tuck under. Okay. Now we're going to put this in our pan. You see what I'm doing? Then we'll cover it and let that rise. And then we'll bake it. I got a glass pan and a metal pan. Yeah, this one's bigger. I didn't cut them even. But it don't have to be precise. We are making it homemade. I'm just going to roll this one up. And I'm not an expert on this, but it tastes good when it comes out. And I think I'm going to take one of them. Let me turn you guys up. I'll cover that up and let that rise in a little bit. One of my friends, Tanya, had posted a video of somebody making bread, and they took everything bagel seasoning, and this was, they baked it in a Pyrex bowl. They buttered the bowl and coated that bowl with that seasoning, and then put their dough in there and baked it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to butter one of my loaves when it gets ready to put in the oven and sprinkle that seasoning over it and see how it turns out. You don't know unless you try, right? But we'll see you guys back in a little bit once that rises. And it's not too long. We'll have some fresh bread. Okay, guys. So the bread has went through the third rise. And I'm going to turn you around and let you look at them. I've got my oven set at 350 degrees. It's probably going to bake around 30 minutes or so. That's something you just have to kind of watch. And it may vary a little bit according to your oven. But let me turn you around and I'll let you look at them. Now this is the one that I just took some melted butter and brushed over it and just covered it in the bagel seasoning. Or it's everything. Well, let me get it for you. I hope it's not backwards. Everything bagel and seasoning. This stuff, I put it in my pizza dough. It is so good. And then here's the other one. This one's a little bigger, but the dough was bigger. And I should have kind of smoothed it out a little bit better. But to be honest with you, I've been all day doing videos. And I'm kind of tired. I'm just kind of wanting to get it done. So we're going to put these puppies in the oven. And we're going to have some bread. Wayne got tired and he left me. He went and took him a little nap, but I will guarantee you, if I was a betting person, I would be safe to bet that when these loaves of bread come out of the oven, he will be up and at 'em and ready for a slice. And of course, I've laid out some butter because he has to have lots of butter on his bread. And that's why we don't bake it a lot. Because we would eat a pound of butter or more, probably, on our bread. So, but we do love it. And it's okay for an occasional treat, but I don't bake it often. It's not hard to do. It's just kind of time consuming because you could be 3 hours in just the rising by going, hit rising 3 times, and it may take up to an hour each time. So I never bake bread through a work day. It has to be on a weekend, or like today. I'm off today, so I knew I had all day to take care of this bread. So it's not hard. It's just time consuming. So, if you've got a Saturday free, great time to bake bread. So I'm going to pop off of here. And when they come out of the oven, I'll bring you guys back and we'll do a taste test. Okay, there are the 2 loaves of bread. This one I think turned out really good. I've never done loaves of bread that way, but I'm excited to try that. And then here's just the plain loaf. I've got them on a little cooling rack. I'm going to let them cool like that for maybe 10-15 minutes, and then I'll take them out of the pans, let them completely cool on that, and then we'll slice it up and put some butter on it. Taste test. Did I not tell you that when the bread come out of the oven, he would come alive?
Hey, she been talking about me. When y'all write a comment, tell me what she said about me. I'm going to put her outside in the snow.
Oh, no. Oh, no. And yes, my little Christmas tree is not come down yet. Everything else has come down except for that. I just haven't had the time, and it's not in the way, so, but it'll come down eventually. We won't tell him what I said, will we?
Yes. I got friends, buddy.
Guys, you gotta stand behind me. But we're gonna get off of here. I've got another video I want to do for you guys. Like I said, I've probably done about 5 today. So 4 or 5. So you'll see these clothes for a while. But I think you'll like it. I hope you like the videos. We're gonna pop off of here, let the bread cool, and then we'll come back and let Wayne taste test.
And
He
then
ain't gonna
I'm
miss
going to
that.
be up with you the rest of the evening.
I hear you. Yeah, I'm making supper, so yes, he's gonna be up. But we'll see you back when the bread cools.
What's that?
You see the snow falling in behind you in the window.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Mm-hmm. That tastes as good as the last time I made it.
You ain't ever made a loaf of bread in your life.
If I made a loaf, it would taste that good. It would. That is. Let me get one more bite.
It takes 2 bites to decide.
Mm-hmm. Mm. 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 Well, I'll tell you. I want to use a word I've not used in a long time. That is double delicious. It is.
I tasted of it. It is pretty good.
It is. I mean,
It's worth the wait in it.
yes. And I had a long wait. Had a good wait though.
You slept through half of it.
Did she take a picture of me sleeping?
No, I didn't do that.
Huh?
I didn't. I really didn't.
Well, she did, y'all.
But that's giving me an idea on the next video.
But I'll be awake for the next video. I'm gonna put her right out there where that snow's falling.
Oh no.
Seriously, make you some of this bread. It is. It's a double D. Delicious. It is too good. What's that right there?
What this?
Mm-hmm.
I just put the seasoning on top of it.
You show them that.
Yeah, I did.
Seasoned bread. That's my ideal.
It was not your ideal.
If you got a prayer request, send them. And I've got where I can hold my camera up and text now. So send us some comments and tell me how good this bread is that you made.
And thank you, Sharon, for sharing that recipe with us.
Yes, thank you, Sharon. I've got me some good bread here. I'm about to get in trouble. I'll be quiet. Hey, we love you all. Remember, prayer requests, and I'm serious about that. And watch videos, because well, we need a little help right now. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And I know there's some new subscriber I've not talked to yet. And I promise you, do write in the comments, say, I'm new, and I'll answer you, tell you pull up a chair, stay a while.
Yeah, we thank you all the new subscribers and all the ones that's been with us for years too.
Stuck by us, and you really don't know what all you have stuck by us with. Bad sickness. But we love you all. I want to get in on this bread and make some. Tell me how you like it.
We'll see you all. Bye-bye.